Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, some wearable Halloween decorations. Well, I thought that with Halloween just around the corner, here on Alternative Tuesdays, I figured we'd play some more with the ABS and add some Halloween to it. And for what I have in mind today, it'd be a great project to get the kids involved. But let's start off with some 1/16 inch thick ABS, which we're going to do over at the table saw. Well, I don't think there's anything that is more in the Halloween spirit than the color combination of black and orange. And I've also cut a strip of white. Now, what we need to do at this point is draw our designs. Well, when I think of Halloween and I see orange, the first thing that comes to mind, for me anyway, is a pumpkin. So I'm just going to sketch out a pumpkin as best I can. I'm no artist, but we'll make it work. There we go. That looks pretty pumpkin-y, if you ask me. And now that we have our pumpkin shape drawn out, what else could be more Halloween-like than a ghost? So let's just see how we're going to do here. This ghost could be up. You can do whatever you want with this. You know, it doesn't have to be any particular type of ghost. But we're just going to make it kind of a silhouette type of ghost, just like that. It doesn't have to be anything special. And then with the black, I'm thinking maybe a black cat. Now, I don't know how well this is going to translate to the camera, but we'll try it and see what happens. So draw out your designs as best you can. This cat is looking more like a turtle, but that's okay. We'll see, maybe it's a Halloween turtle, right? So draw out your designs and then meet me over at the scroll saw. Well, as you can see, I've revamped my ghost design quite a bit, and I've got a number 3 reverse tooth blade in the saw. We have the speed turned right down, and we're just going to take our time and let the saw do the job, and we're going to cut out our ghost pattern. One of the things I like about this ABS is, if you can see here, you see the burring? You can just take your finger and brush that off for the most part. If you have burring like this on your piece, for the most part, most of it is removable just with either your finger or a little soft blade or that sort of thing. It's not hard to remove at all. So now we just want to clean up the edges there where the burring is. As I said, you can just use like a soft bladed knife. That's what I'm calling this flexible style blade here. And you just need to give it a little light scraping, and all of those burrs from cutting will come right off of there. Now, I kind of went a little wonky here, and he's got some seriously malnourished back legs here, but you know, it's a Halloween cat, so I don't know, maybe he needs more candy or something. Either way, I'm going to finish scraping the burring off of my malnourished cat here, and then we'll carry on. Now the black cat, as far as I'm concerned, for my liking anyway, this guy is done. He doesn't need anything else, so I'm going to slide him off to the side. But these two guys here don't look quite complete. So we're going to use the leftover scraps of our black ABS, and we're going to decorate our pumpkin and give our ghost some eyes and a mouth. not going to do anything fancy here, just some triangles for your typical jack-o'-lantern that we would carve. And of course he's got to have that jack-o'-lantern smile and maybe even a couple of teeth there. Let's try that, see how that works. And now the ghost as well, he's going to have some smaller eyes, so I'm just going to cut some smaller circles here for his eyes, and I think his mouth is going to be long and drooping, kind of like that. There. So I'm going to cut these out at the scroll saw. The problem is that the blade hole in the table is way too large, and these small pieces are going to fall through. So we need to get a zero clearance insert. So grab yourself a business card and join me at the scroll saw. Well, this is kind of a cool trick for when you need to cut smaller pieces like this, and you know darn well they're going to fall in through this hole here in your tabletop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this old business card, I'm going to blow away any of the dust here, and I'm going to sit this business card right over top of this hole. Once I get that there, I'm just going to let my blade go off to the side here, and we're going to get some tape, and I'm just going to tape this right down to the table, make sure that it's not sticking up, just like that. Once you have the business card secured to your table, lift your head up so that you can see where the blade is naturally going to puncture or hit the business card, and then gently pop it through. Try not to bend the blade, especially with a small one like this. There we go. So that is just through there in a small little hole. I actually have mine a little too far forward, so I'm just going to pull on it a bit just to cut that slot. We're going to insert it into the bottom blade retainer and then just start your saw, and it will find its own place where it wants to sit. And there you go. There's a zero clearance insert so that your pieces won't fall through. So now cut all your little decorative pieces that you drew out. Well, once you get all your pieces cut and you're fairly happy with your design, you can just take a little bit of CA glue onto the parts that you cut with the scroll saw and add them onto your pieces, whether it be your pumpkin or your ghost. So decorate them with the pieces that you cut. So I have my three designs. I'm quite pleased with the cat and the ghost. I think that the facial features of my pumpkin are a little too close together, but the glue was already set by the time I slipped and dropped them in place, so I'll have to live with this one. No big deal. The next thing that I want to do to smooth them out and give them a nicer finish is I want to do that acetone chamber thing. And for that, you need some paper towel, a plastic or metal container, and some rare earth magnets. So we've got some brown paper towel here, and I'm just going to roll it into kind of a tube and put it on the inside of our peanut butter jar. Now, I've tested this jar before as far as whether or not it can handle our next ingredient, which is acetone. And the acetone is going to get put in here just sparingly, just to dampen our paper towel, and that is what's going to give us our finish. In order to keep our paper towel from collapsing. We're just going to put a rare earth magnet. These are 1/2 inch, but it can be any size you want. We're going to put one here on the inside and then snap its mate onto the outside. Now that will hold our paper towel in there just fine. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Add our magnet, and that will hold the opposite side of the paper towel. So what I've done is taken a little piece of scrap wood and I've hot glued our project to it just to give a pedestal for that to sit on, so that when I need to remove it to dry, I can without having to touch it. From here, like I said, just a little bit of acetone, and then we can put our project in the chamber. And we will let that sit for 20 minutes. Okay, so truth be told, it's been in here for 1/2 an hour now, and we'll just see what kind of a finish we're looking at. Oh, I like it. I like it. It's quite shiny. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can just pick this up. It's got a nice shine to it, and I think that'll work just fine. So you're going to need to put this aside now and let this dry. Once you allow your designs to dry from the acetone, you should just be able to pop them off of that hot glue that we used to put them onto these little blocks. So pop the designs off of the blocks, and then we'll do the final step. For our last step, what I have here is some brooch pins, and I got these at a beading supply store, and I found them in the findings section, and it's just a little brooch pin with a flat section here. And all we're going to do is use a little bit of CA glue, and we're going to glue a pin on the back of each one of our designs. And there you have it. And there you have it. Some wearable Halloween decorations. Guys, this project is a lot of fun. And if you were lucky enough to bring your young ones into the shop and have them participate in this project, it really opens up the avenues of their imagination and lets them go with it, as well as your own. I mean, you're only limited to your imagination. Don't get too hung up on whether or not your designs are perfect, or whether or not your cat looks that great, or what have you. I mean, look at my pumpkin. It doesn't look quite right, but yet I'm happy with it. So do what makes you happy in this case. Guys, I've had a lot of fun on this project. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you're going to try it yourself. And I also hope you're going to join me for another Alternative Tuesdays.